In a moment, we will witness the story of the Titanic and the process of its sinking. We will see the moment of impact from inside the ship, examine the iceberg that sank the Titanic and the real marks it left behind. Then, through an experiment, we will learn what the people who fell into the water experienced, and we will follow a truth that shocked even the actors of the film. The sound you hear belonged to the distress call sent from the Titanic. Using the telegraph, Morse code signals were sent to other ships. The Titanic had begun to sink slowly. At the telegraph station was a 25-year-old young man, Jack Phillips. He did not leave his post until the communications room was flooded. He acted heroically until the very last moment. But nothing he did was enough to change the outcome. The Titanic would be found exactly 73 years after it sank, and everything would begin with the discovery of the wreck. The mysterious story of the Titanic actually began years earlier. In 1912, 111 years ago, newspapers ran the following headline in bold letters: "Titanic to set sail on her maiden voyage." Even images of the ship and ticket prices appeared in the newspapers. The story of the Titanic was built on a challenge. At the time, transatlantic passenger travel was highly profitable. Shipping companies fiercely competed to carry wealthy travelers and immigrants. Two major companies were in competition. One wanted to break Atlantic speed records with faster ships. The other chose a different path. In 1908, a massive workforce, mostly Irish laborers, was assembled. The goal was to build the largest, most luxurious, and most comfortable passenger ship ever made. "We may not be fast," they said, "but who wants to cross an ocean while vomiting?" First, RMS Olympic was launched into the sea. With a weight of 45,000 tons, it was the largest ship ever built at the time. Then came the ship that captured all attention, RMS Titanic. Approximately 14,000 people worked on the construction of the Titanic. 200,000 people gathered to watch her launch. Those who witnessed it said it felt as if the ground itself was moving, not the ship. The interior of the Titanic was decorated with the most expensive and extravagant furnishings. However, some believed the money should have been invested in technology instead. At the time, ships with greater maneuverability and 4 propellers already existed, but White Star Line chose to highlight luxury rather than technology with the Titanic. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic departed from England for New York on her maiden voyage. She was under the command of Captain Edward Smith. Route: England, Cherbourg, Queenstown. New York's. Warnings about possible icebergs were received during the journey. However, such warnings were considered routine in the Atlantic. At 9:30 p.m., a ship sailing ahead of the Titanic reported large icebergs in the area. The message was received, but it was never delivered to the captain, because the radio operators were busy sending paid private messages for first-class passengers. The air suddenly turned cold. The sea was almost as smooth as glass. There was no moon in the sky. Near midnight, one of the lookouts noticed a dark silhouette ahead of the ship. It was an iceberg. The alarm was sounded. The bridge was alerted. The order came, "Hard to starboard!" But it was already too late. At 11:40 p.m., the Titanic scraped along the iceberg on her starboard side. The iceberg sliced the ship like a razor blade. The rivets failed. 5 compartments began to flood, 400 tons of water per minute. The Titanic was beyond saving. Women and children first. Passengers were awakened. Lifeboats were lowered, but panic spread everywhere. Distress calls were sent. The nearest ship was only 32 kilometers away, but it did not respond. Finally, Carpathia answered the call. She set course immediately, but it would take 4 hours to arrive. The Titanic had only 2 hours left. At 2:20 a.m., the Titanic disappeared beneath the water. For those who fell into the sea, the real tragedy was just beginning. Experiments later showed that in water at this temperature, a person would die from hypothermia within 20 to 30 minutes. Very few survived. For many years, it was believed that the Titanic sank due to a direct collision. But the truth was different. The ship had not struck the iceberg head-on. It had scraped along it. Protruding rivets failed one by one, creating a 9-meter rupture in the hull. If the Titanic had hit the iceberg at a different angle, there was a 99% chance she would not have sunk. That night was extraordinary. There was no moon. The sea was perfectly calm. The atmosphere distorted light. The iceberg was noticed only when it was about 1 kilometer away. That iceberg had broken off from Greenland 300 days earlier. Formed by snow that fell thousands of years ago, it was a giant weighing 1.5 million tons. When dawn broke, the survivors looked back. More than 1,500 people had lost their lives. Most were men. Most were third-class passengers. Captain Smith was among the dead. This was meant to be his final voyage. 3 hours earlier, people were talking and laughing. Children were being put to sleep. 3 hours later, mothers surrendered their children to icy waters. Fathers lost their families. Lives were changed forever. No one who lived through that night ever forgot it. Behind this short story of the Titanic, many mysteries still remain. In the next episode, we will examine official reports, real experiments, incredible footage from the wreck. Don't forget to save your place for the second part. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you very soon.